Rachel Zegler's career continues to spiral in ways few could have predicted, with a shocking new video leak revealing what appears to be the actress being escorted off stage by security during an EVITA rehearsal. The surveillance footage, which has gone viral among insiders in the London theatre scene, shows a visibly tense Zegler being approached by security from both sides before being guided out, while the stunt cast and crew look on in silence. What's most striking about the video isn't just the drama, it's the silence. When Zegler stops, so does everything else. The music halts. Movement freezes. And according to those close to the production, this wasn't some experimental dramatic exercise. It was the culmination of weeks of mounting tension between Zegler and the EVITA creative team. From dream role to drama spiral. This incident marks a dramatic fall from what had been billed as a triumphant return to form for Zegler. She had been eager, even desperate, to portray Eva Peron, reportedly pitching the concept herself and expressing deep emotional and cultural resonance with the role. Early interviews described the part as transformative, life-changing, and culturally significant. Media outlets celebrated her casting, fans rallied, and there was genuine anticipation surrounding her performance. But over time, that optimism began to decay. The social media excitement faded. Heartfelt posts were replaced with cryptic messages and radio silence. And beneath the surface, the production was reportedly deteriorating fast. Hostility behind the curtain. Insiders say Zegler began describing the creative environment as hostile and controlling. In leaked private messages to fan accounts, she reportedly accused the team of creative gaslighting. But according to those inside the production, the issue wasn't the environment, it was the expectations. EVITA, under Jamie Lloyd's direction, fresh off the acclaimed Sunset Boulevard, demanded ensemble precision, rigorous movement, and tight creative collaboration. But Zegler allegedly struggled to adapt to this vision, approaching the role as a star vehicle rather than part of a broader collective. Tensions boil over. Signs of trouble were subtle at first. Zegler allegedly arrived late to rehearsals with shifting explanations, challenged directorial decisions, suggested alternate blocking, and even altered choreography without permission. What began as creative input soon evolved into full-blown disruption. One tech crew member described every lighting cue as a debate. Vocal improvisations required constant audio recalibrations. Ensemble members requested to be repositioned. And Jamie Lloyd reportedly spent more time managing emotions than refining performance. Then came the breaking point. During a critical full run-through with producers and financial backers in attendance, Zegler allegedly halted the performance just minutes in. She voiced dissatisfaction with lighting, costuming, and color tones. Crew scrambled to adjust, only to discover she had left the building entirely without explanation. This wasn't an isolated event. According to insiders, this pattern repeated, throwing the production into chaos. Lloyd allegedly ceased direct communication with Zegler entirely, routing all notes through assistants and stage managers, an almost unheard-of dynamic in professional theater. Behind closed doors, the team transitioned from creative planning to crisis management. Crisis mode. Legal teams were reportedly brought in to review her contract. Understudy rehearsals were quietly accelerated. Producers discreetly explored recasting options. The once buzzing rehearsal space turned clinical and cold. Cast and crew arrived, did the minimum, and left quietly, unsure if the production could be salvaged. In the tight-knit West End community, word spread fast. And in an industry where reputation is currency, concern grew. Casting directors reportedly circulated notes voicing worries not about Zegler's talent, but her stability. Some allegedly began reviewing her entire past portfolio, identifying a concerning pattern: early enthusiasm, followed by public distancing when complications arose. A familiar pattern. This wasn't the first time. Zegler once embraced Snow White as a legacy-defining opportunity, only to later criticize the original, mock the prince, and describe the classic story as disturbing. During Shazam! Fury of the Gods, she claimed in interviews to have taken the role for a paycheck, a statement many believed helped tank the film. Insiders now believe EVITA was supposed to be her reset, a return to her theatrical roots, a platform for her undeniable voice and stage presence. But instead, it became yet another installment in an unsettling saga of discordant collaborations. Industry fallout. Reports say Zegler's team is now reassessing her strategy. The plan? Pivot towards smaller roles, indie films with respected directors, and reduced media exposure. She's not blacklisted, according to insiders, but she's now on industry watch. Her name reportedly causes awkward silences in casting discussions. One assistant recalled a recent meeting where her name was floated, only for the room to go dead. Producers, it seems, are increasingly wary of the perceived risk. Even young performers who once cited her as inspiration are allegedly pulling away. Vocal coaches, sources say, now cite her story as a cautionary tale about how talent without professionalism can backfire. Zegler's response. Zegler hasn't addressed the specifics publicly. Instead, she's resorted to a familiar strategy, emotive poetry, vague spiritual references, and posts about choosing grace in dangerous rooms. To loyal fans, these messages read as resilience. To industry veterans, they ring as avoidance. This tactic, reframing disputes as empowerment struggles, has worked before. But in this case, the consequences are tangible: production delays, financial losses, fractured creative trust. And no Instagram caption can fix that. The turning point. At just 23, Rachel Zegler remains an immensely gifted performer. Her vocal ability, emotional range, and stage presence are real. But the gap between potential and professionalism is widening, and the EVITA debacle may be the industry's breaking point. In theater, unlike film, there's no safety net. No retakes. No edits. The entire production relies on real-time collaboration and mutual trust. When the lead becomes unpredictable, the entire ecosystem suffers. What's striking about the EVITA situation is how quickly it unraveled, from creative tension to near collapse, culminating in security involvement. Insiders point to early signs, minor tardiness, challenges to staging, emotional volatility, as red flags that were overlooked or dismissed until it was too late. Jamie Lloyd's decision to cut off direct communication with his star is described by many as unprecedented. Directors and leads are typically in constant dialogue. The idea of relaying notes through intermediaries speaks to a complete breakdown in trust. Two narratives. Outside the rehearsal space, two narratives are forming. To her critics, Zegler represents a dangerous blend of entitlement and inexperience, a performer whose emotional unpredictability undermines every project she touches. To her defenders, she's a young woman fighting oppressive structures, protecting her artistry in an industry still hostile to strong, outspoken women. Both perspectives have been intensified by the leaked security video, which, depending on your view, either confirms unacceptable behavior or reveals an actress being forcibly silenced. What's clear is this: EVITA was meant to be a comeback. It may now be the biggest turning point of her career. Final curtain? Zegler's rise from unknown teenager to Spielberg's West Side Story lead was meteoric. But stardom isn't sustained by talent alone. In an industry that values teamwork, consistency, and trust, even the brightest stars can dim if the backstage story becomes louder than the performance. The question now is not whether Rachel Zegler has talent. It's whether anyone still wants to work with her.